Alright, what's up YouTube? So, today we got a huge project we're going to take on. As you know, if you see my last video, that the injectors weren't the problem, so I showed you how to easily, Dremel out some of the intake manifold, change it out. It took like 10 minutes, like 30 seconds. So, that wasn't the problem. So that means the next step that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to check the wiring. So I have a bunch of wiring diagrams with me. I got my own meter, and today I'm going to be showing you how to test the cast, the injector harness, and the ECU. So let's get started. Like always, I'm going to show you guys the tools you're going to need to complete this project. So the first thing you're going to need is the diagrams or the diagnostic sheets. They're going to tell you like where to test, what to test, what your ohms should be, how to test it. Like, I got a bunch of them printed off. There is a mobile app that you can look all this stuff up on. It's just a little easier when I have it printed off, so that's what I do. The second thing you're going to need is your ohm meter. You don't need a fancy one. You can pick it up at Harbor Freight. It's like 10 bucks there. This is just one from when I worked in the mechanic shop. I needed a good one, so this is what I got. And then this next part isn't really necessary, but it is nice to have. This is a consoult cable. It plugs in underneath the dash, and it goes on to your computer, so you can look up some of the parameters and things that your engine's running. With I got Nissan Data Scan. You can pick this cable up for like 30 bucks on Concept Z. It's not as expensive, but the program itself is going to run you like 50 bucks for the cheapest one. So, but it's definitely worth having, especially if you have a Z, because it tells you a lot more information than flashing the codes. So that's all the stuff you're going to need, besides your picks and your 10 millimeters to get to some of the other things that we're going to get to. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to test is going to be the CAS, or the crank angle sensor. So this is a common failure point. I'm not testing the sensor itself because I already know it's good. I've already tested it. What we're actually testing today is the harness. So here's the harness. So I'm going to show you real quick how to read these diagrams, because they can be kind of complicated. So I'm going to show you on this first part, and then I'm just going to explain it as I go down. Alright, so you start at the top. It's going to be your diagnosis procedure. 23 just happens to be for the crank angle sensor. So it says part 1, turn ignition power to on. So that means is we're gonna go into the car, the battery's hooked up, and we're gonna turn our battery power on. So, and then we're gonna go down, and now we're gonna check the voltage between terminal B to that, and then we're looking for battery voltage. Now, you look at this, let's see if I can get it to focus. There it is. So this kind of shows you the orientation of the plug, so you know which terminal you're testing. If you look, it has this little up dimple on this side and two little dimples on this side. Now if we go over here to our plug, we have this up dimple and two down dimples. So that means this center plug right here is going to be our B. And what we're looking for in B, it says it's supposed to be that second one. Maybe I'm reading this backward, but either way, we're looking for the one that gives us battery voltage, or close to it. So we have our terminal in here, we have our other one back there on the ground right there, and we're looking for battery voltage. So we got 11.22 volts, which doesn't seem like battery voltage. 11.22. $11.10. This thing does have a bad battery draw on it, so I know I'm sounding a lot like Twin Turbo Tim, but they all have some kind of problems. So that means that part A of this test is good. So what we're going to do, that means we're going to go down to B. So that they want us to check, start the engine, they want us to back probe it, data monitoring with a consoult, non-turbo, automatic. This is a non-turbo, so we're working for 700 RPMs in the neutral position. So it pretty much means like they want you to plug the crank angle sensor in, spin it, and check that you're getting your negative charge from the ECU. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that, and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so I finished testing the CAS and it's good. I didn't really go into detail about it because if you go to Turbo Tim's YouTube, he goes into it really specific and he really details it, and he can do it way better than I can right now. So if you're still wondering how to do that one, like if you think that's your problem, I will put a link down in the description to his page that talks about testing the crank angle sensor and the igniter, which I moved. It's usually over here on the block, but I moved it. So I'll put a link to those two videos for you so you can check that out. There's just no reason for me to go into detail about it. I have a problem with the injector, and it wouldn't be just one wire that's bad if it was the cast. And I just tested it, it's good, so we're gonna move on to checking the injectors, the injector circuits. So let's get started. Alright guys, so let's get started on this. So right now we're going to be testing the injector. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. The injector circuit. There it is. So we're not testing the injector. It's down there. You can see it. You know, you can see where I ground all that crap off in the video before this. I'm not testing it. I'm not gonna even waste the 2 seconds it just took me to explain this to test it. It's good. I know the injector's good. I got the proper ohms. It's like 12.0 ohms or whatever it's supposed to be. I don't know. You can check the last video and figure it out. Look, I'll even show you this here. See if it'll focus. There it is. That's the old injector that came out of it. It was brand new. Now I put a used one in it that was ohmed right. This one was a brand new injector. I wasn't wasting my time to throw it back in. The injector is good. I know it's good. It was good before I took it out. It was good. This thing was amazing. It was it's brand new still. There's not even any dirt or anything in there. So the injector is good. So let's get started with this. We're going to be testing the plugs. The plug and the signal from the ECU to the actual coil. So this is an important one, so I am going to go through a lot of the details on this one because you won't find the wiring side on YouTube. I searched, I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm just lazy, but from my knowledge I couldn't find it. So let's get started with this. Alright, so step one is we're going to be checking for battery voltage from the ground cable to the the A side of the injector. Now if you look at your injector, if you have factory injectors, see if I can get that to focus right there. Alright, you'll see the little B for the B side, and then obviously this side is the A. If you can see it's a little worn out in there, that's because I took it and I scrubbed the shit out of it. I mean, there's no corrosion in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our multimeter and we're looking for battery voltage from the negative terminal to that plug. So I'll show you that in a second. Alright, so I got it all set up for you guys. Alright, so we're in the B side of the terminal. We're on the ground and we're looking for battery voltage 11.8. That's battery voltage. Like I said before, the battery has a draw to it. So I'm not really sure where it's coming from. That's later. So that's part one. So let's go back to our diagnostics procedures. So it says check battery voltage between terminal terminal A and ground. If negative, we're going to check the circuit, the negative circuit, but it's okay. It's good. So we're going to go down to subsection C. So subsection C says check harness between injectors and ECU. So what do we got to do here? We got to disconnect the positive terminal, disconnect the injector harness connection and ECU harness connection, check harness. Alright, and the last step is to check harness continuity following figure C. And continuity should exist. So now we're going to go from C, and we're sitting there thinking like, what do we got to test? Oh, look at that right over here, subsection C. It's going to tell us exactly what we needed to test. It's going to give our cylinder number. We're working on cylinder 3. So we're going to be testing from the cylinder, and we're looking for ohms. We're looking for resistance, and we're going to be testing terminal 105. We're going to for terminal 105 on the ECU. So let me get this pulled apart and I'll be back.